All right, everyone, welcome back to the Experimental Super Cub project. This is episode 4, and I'm finally going to do my review of the VR3 coped tubing kit that they use to build the fuselage that you see behind me. Okay, so first I want to talk about why I ended up going with a tubing kit rather than a tack-together fuselage or a fully built fuselage, or I guess possibly scratch building it from just a bunch of tube that I'd ordered off of Aircraft Spruce. So I considered all the options. I'll go down and I'll just say why I didn't do what I did and why I did what I did. I didn't scratch build the kit because the Cub fuselage it wasn't designed to be built by a home builder. Like a Pitts fuselage or a Skybolt or I think a Bearhawk, you can build those flat on a table and stand up the sides, where a Super Cub, the longerons have a few bends in them, and the sides just aren't built flat like they are on a home built airplane that's designed to be built on a table by a home builder. So because of that, I've never built a fuselage before. I've never really messed with coping tubing, so I figured that it was going to be too difficult for me as my first project to try and build a complicated fuselage. So because of that, that's really the main reason I didn't build the thing from scratch. I guess the other reason is the amount of time that it would take to cope all the various tubes in the fuselage and fit everything just would take. Now that I built the tube kit, I think it saved me like hundreds of hours. It saved me an immense amount of time, and it's more like putting together a Lego kit than it is fabricating something. Okay, so the other option would be to buy a completed fuselage. This would be a fine option. I don't have the money to buy a complete fuselage from a company like Airframes Alaska. Because I think they want like $17,000 for the wide body PA-18 fuselage, and the product looks great. I just don't have the money to spend on that aspect of the project. So buying the tubing kit was kind of a compromise between building the thing completely from scratch or buying it already built. So I think I saved a bunch of money, but I also paid for convenience a little bit. So I didn't talk about the pricing for the Cartesian Cup Kit. The base, so the fuselage, pretty much what you see behind me, all the tubes for the fuselage, they are $4,200 for just the tubing, and then I also bought the landing gear kit and all the wing attach fittings and landing gear attach fittings. And I think the total with shipping that I spent was like $5,500, I think, for all that. So, so I think it's a pretty good value. I think it's even more of a value now that I've built it and I've seen the craftsmanship that went into creating the kit and how everything fit just extremely precise, in a precise manner together. Okay, let's talk about the modifications that are kind of stock with the tubing kit that you get. The fuselage is 3¼ inches wider than the stock Cub fuselage, so it comes out to like a nominal 30-inch width through the cabin. They put the lower longerons are a little thicker. They box out the tail. There's an X-brace between the two wing attach fittings, so an X-brace from the firewall to the second station. There's a removable seat crossbar. The landing gear are 3 inches extended and heavier gauge axles, inch and a half axles rather than 1¼ axles. I think that is it. I think that's all the modifications. I'm probably forgetting some, and there's probably some that I'm leaving out, but those were the big ones, and it was pretty well set up for kind of the mission of the plane and how I wanted to build it. The next thing I want to talk about is dealing with the company and my experience with Don. He was pretty easy to work with, fast communication, everything showed up in a timely manner, As far as customer service, he apparently FedEx lost all the wing attach and landing gear attach fittings, and they just weren't on the truck when the thing showed up. So I sent a note to Don, and immediately he had the parts I was missing remade and sent back out. So there wasn't any shenanigans about trying to recover them from FedEx or whatever. He just remade them and sent them out to me, no questions asked. So I appreciate that, and any questions I've had since while building it, he's sent me good and accurate information. So no complaints with dealing with Don and VR3. Okay, building the tubing kit. First time I built a tubular fuselage. You know, the fitment of the tubes is ridiculously accurate. All the clusters fit together just extremely well. And if something doesn't fit, it means that you're not doing something right. And so that, because it's so accurate, it keeps you from getting the thing out of whack. Because if stuff doesn't start fitting, you got to go back and figure out where it went wrong. And then once you figure it out, continue back. And if you do that, everything keeps fitting together and self-jigs it. Self-jigs itself. Jigs itself. I don't know. I used a couple plumb bobs and a laser to keep everything square and the top of the fuselage plumb with the lower part of the fuselage, and that all worked pretty well. I used tape and straps, packaging, plastic to kind of keep everything together while I was jigging it, and then I kind of added more tape and support and clamps and etc. to get it more rigid before I tacked it. The tape really worked well because I was able to kind of hold things together while I was figuring out how the cope or how the clusters went together, because some of them are pretty complicated. You have to spin around a number of different ways and get all the pieces in there and fit them in a specific order for them to fit. And once you figure it out, it's fine, but that leading up to it, you kind of need to just hold them in place while you pull tubes from the kit and bring them over to the work table. So that went really well. So those are my overall impressions of building the kit out, and I wanted to kind of wait and do this review after I built the kit so that I had more of an idea of what to tell you guys about my experience. So so overall, I'm really happy, and I'm pretty glad that I went this route. I think I saved a bunch of money, but I still ended up with a really nice fuselage that I got the experience of kind of dipping my toe into building a tubular structure, and maybe the next one I build, I'll build from scratch. Probably not, but I would definitely recommend using the tubing kit from VR3. And they make, in addition to the Super Cub fuselages, they make Pitts, Skybolt, a bunch of different experimental kits, and I think they make a Bearhawk. And so it's a great option. They also make, I think, race car roll cages. The guy can make anything out of tubing, so it's been a good experience. All right, well, I hope that was helpful for you guys to kind of hear my thought process to why I picked what I picked and how it went and my experience. I didn't get any money, or I didn't get anything given to me to make this review. I just when I was trying to decide on this, I would have loved a video explaining someone's experiences using the kit, because there are some threads on supercub.org, but not really a lot of information. So I hope this is helpful, and I've progressed with the fuselage, and I will be doing an update video on the next episode, and we'll be moving on to some exciting stuff. We're starting to purchase some parts, and it's getting kind of exciting now that I actually have a thing that I'll be able to sit in and make airplane noises pretty soon. So comment below if you have any questions about the tubing kit or the project in general. Be sure to like the video and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.